What is up, everybody? Welcome on back to another series here in College COD. Fantastic day we have going on here. Obviously, I'm back on after the first series. We got Proper here alongside me after that fantastic banger we just went ahead and watched. We got one more series to close out your day. It is, of course, Oklahoma University taking on the University of Texas Arlington Mavericks. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at our standings to see where did these teams stack on up so far here, Proper, because, well, so far it's been pretty even in our first series. This one, not the case.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the top cut of the Western Sun Belt, we just got the Western Pacific there with ASU kind of top of the food chain over there. This time we're hopping on over towards the Western Sun Belt area where we're kind of in the supremacy of Oklahoma, baby. I mean, we got Oklahoma Christian, of course. Everybody's favorite Kiwi does play for that Eagle Nation of a college of Cruzy COD, but also OU, the Boomer Sooners, remain undefeated. So two colleges out of the state of Oklahoma, but also remaining undefeated through the regular season. We're going to be able to see that matchup as the restructure continues underway. NWOSU is also a team to be feared of, and Wichita State Esports as scrappy as ever. But this one's a heavy hitter. I hate that I sound like a broken record, but that's just what we get with the restructure at the end of the day, Dandro. You get all these top dogs facing up against each other. It's setting up really good narratives and really good opportunities for a lot of these collegiate athletes to be able to showcase what they got when it comes down to the game of Call of Duty.
No, and that's exactly what we are doing here today. You mentioned it. You have, of course, Oklahoma. They're 9-0 right now. Their opponents, UTA, 5-4. It's been a little bit of a rough go for UTA, but this could be the time to bring it around. When we look at the head-to-head here, I mean, when we obviously no surprise what we're seeing on our screen, just given the sheer map counts that we see from both sides here. One thing that's really interesting to me is that for UTA, it's almost split very even, just like across the board. Obviously, S&D and Control both going 4-4, and Hardpoint only going that +2 there. But on the side of Oklahoma, it's all across the board, just dominance from them, only dropping one map in Hardpoint, two maps in Search and Destroy, and one map in Control. Kind of leads me to believe here that they have a pretty strong understanding of how to play these three game modes. Seems like UTA maybe still trying to figure it on out here. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at our maps proper, because I feel like when we kind of look at these three maps and how these two teams are going to go ahead and play, a pretty standard set. I think we're going to see a lot from the different side, but my only worry is that maybe if you are UTA, you want to get a little bit mixy. Unfortunately, you got to win one of these first three maps.
Yeah, I mean, look, out of those four maps, 3 of those losses for OU Esports was against NWOSU. None of those 3 maps, let alone the 4, are actually in the specified map set. Those have more or less become staples, I suppose, as hard vetoes for OU Esports, or potentially even as we continue on red card, getting rid of protocol control soon after. I think my notes might be a little bit further backwards. UTA actually getting rid of the double red card. But at the end of the day, those maps are no longer in this pool, so we got a back-to-back protocol. Pretty slow pace if you think about it. Good AR pressure, and then a good under route passage for SMGs if you've never seen the map modes before. And then we start getting into the good old bang out on the tail end of the best of 5 map set. And if you are UTA, I mean, what's like your best bet to maybe try to get towards that map 5? It actually, funnily enough here, Dan, does start early. I mean, they're 3-0 on Protocol Hardpoint. They have not played a Protocol Search and Destroy, but I imagine in a world like what we saw from the Sun Devils and the Aggies in our previous series, that team that plays way too aggressive does get countered, played by crossfires of ARs. You get that in the Protocol Search and Destroy, and a little bit of it in the Protocol Hardpoint. Could get the gunnies pretty warm for UTA Esports, so they could catch OU Esports by surprise if they take their enemies for granted.
No, I think that's a great call out. You know, when you kind of look at some of these maps and some of these teams that have a better record, it seems like they maybe are just understanding the game at a slightly higher level. You like to see those bang out maps early on. You love to see a Vault. You love to see Hacienda. You love to see a Skyline even, you know, Hardpoint there to kickstart it. But, you know, when you don't have that, you're 100% correct. It is a really strong opportunity for some of these teams that maybe can play a little bit slower. You can play a little bit more fundamental. Catch a lot of these players that are in. But what we've also seen with Protocol is that if you understand from your subs perspective, while it is a dominant AR map, if your subs understand how to work this map, work between trips and grandmas, how to work that underground sort of flank and route, and how to hold some of these spawns, just be annoying in the back, it's so tough to get on out of it and actually be able to make moves around this map. So I'm a little bit kind of curious to see how can UTA answer some of that, because we have some fantastic players, of course, on the side of OU who are ready to come out swinging. So I'm feeling a little bit of like David versus Goliath vibes here, which I feel like maybe is disrespecting UTA a slight amount, but I'm willing to be surprised. I mean, we had earlier on, we went all the way to that game 5 in that series I casted with Zep, where we watched, one squad basically, be one just moments away from winning, but then it was the team that came out, won the hard point. They come back, swing on through, and then they just absolutely slam on the return. And it could see something happen here where, like you mentioned, it could be the first hard point going to UTA. Would not be surprised to see 3 straight from OU to answer back.
No, I mean, look, we'll call a spade a spade. We'll draw it out as the data suggests versus the other top cut teams. Those 4 losses in the 5-4 record for the Mavericks are against top cut teams. We're talking a 1-3 loss to Wichita, a 1-3 loss to Texas A&M, 0-3 by Texas State, and then 0-3 from the Eagles of Oklahoma Christian. And then the only one that's realistically close is a handful of maps across all 4 of those losses. So they still have a point to prove that they should be taken seriously for, I feel like, a lot of this division. This could be the start, but they are going up against the number 12, crying out loud.
Well, let's get it started here. Map number 1 on the protocol hard point. Already we are seeing some aggression out from OU. Can't see going to be sitting up here towards this top trip side. Just looking to kind of keep and holding on back in here as P1 does go ahead and pop. It's going to be UTA with some early sort of points, holding it on through here, but it's some of that overheat. It's 3 dead in the feed for UTA. There's number 4. Lando will claim that blood as they are now starting to stack the points, starting getting some of those points going their way. And well, you got, of course, T8 just making this Jackal PDW go to work. Going to make it very difficult for UTA to get out of this.
Yeah, combined 8 spree in between the 3 of OU Esports. They're not making sure that the fundies go unnoticed. I mean, it is as clean as you could possibly desire. You get the majority of time off of P1. Austin does find a nice little flank to at least get up the top trips. Find anything else from this position. Doesn't even get the flank or the spawn out to occur, but does at least allow his teammates to push a little bit further forward. That means that they can generate time.
Like this. This would be a huge win for Zamo. You're going to see a backup, though, from Austin. So now he'll at least be able to kind of look on over towards that P2 side. OU holding that in. You try and make an aggressive play out the top, but it's some great teamwork. The trades are in. Okay, Lando getting cut on down. UTA doing a great job of just pincering a lot of the members of OU, not letting them get on the point. They'll gain control there. Start bringing this one back towards in their favor, not letting a lead go ahead and gather even more.
Oh, thought we were happening again. And a little bit of a reverse one time.
All good.
I'm gonna get it left foot, left stomp. Lando's got a little bit of a flank opportunity coming through into the backside of the triple stack of the building. I think that Naya's just a little bit too late to try to read this. It's allowing for the push to the front to come through scot-free. Kensei is also playing in an off angle over by Old. It's actually going to be giving a pretty unique opportunity for numbers to come through from the Mavericks, and I don't think that the Boomer Sooners were ready for it yet. Not the case at all. So spawns might flip, pressure surmounting UTA back in towards the time with plenty to fight for.
I like this. It's just kind of that slow pace that we were talking about before that protocol can lend you, where you can take those opportunities where you're waiting a little bit to slide on into some of these hard points that are there. And well, it's right now, it's just basically pinstripe kill feed, trades on trades on trades. Who's going to come out on top? It's close spawns for both teams. You are going to have Zamo kind of be able to win one on the point. You got one left as you are into the final 10 seconds. It's just going to be scrap time going to the side of OU. It's still a lead there, but it's not by much. Urgent's already made their way down to the bottom side. Some great shots coming on out. You'll be able to cut one down. Can you find the second towards Spiral? You don't need to. Teammate is there for the trade. UTA, they make the read. They come to this point early, and they are holding on.
Sometimes you just need that X factor versus some of these top teams, and I don't just mean that as a play on for the continent that is playing in place of a Val. Urgent going massive down low inside the server rooms. It's just for a small amount of time, but it still means that they have pressure down low. You get past these head glitches. If you are the Boomer Sooners, already able to get through at least the first. Last alive is Guaf in towards the back, dealt swiftly with, and now the stack is on the opposite side, and the Boomer Sooners generating more time.
UTA doing a great job sort of converting at least some more points here. Come down to the final moments. Lando going to make one last little play at old. Finds one, cannot find the second though. So unfortunately for them, it feels like OU is doing a couple of these times where they're sort of almost, I don't want to use the word overheating, but they're trying to make these really great plays, and UTA is kind of just playing, I feel like, a little bit of fundamental COD where they're making trades everywhere and not letting them really make some of these moves. But Tate with a nice two-piece at the top trips will be able to hold that one. Kenzie almost holding out from across the way, but it will be P1 popping for the second set of rotations. We get ready to go on through, and for now, UTA, they'll claim the lead for the first time this game.
Yeah, I mean, just about that, even heading in towards the second set, 30 seconds remaining on P1, Dan, and there is some modicum to maybe have the conversation that OU, with the only time they've been tested, the one time they went towards a map 5 versus NWOSU, maybe they're taking their enemies for granted. That was the one thing I said that they could not let happen, especially on a map mode combination like Protocol. UTA, Esports, their crossfires are humming. As we set up towards a rotation towards Snoo. Good space being provided. Tate's already pushing through the underpassage, trying to get up towards top trips. Going to force a little bit of a spawn to come through for UTA, closer towards the chopper, and that's further away from the roto.
Guaf maybe trying to cut down some of these players here. You'll be able to find one. It's a great start here. P2 comes online. You'll get caught from that side. Kenzie doing a great job, just making sure nobody's going to really be allowed to fly at this P2. Austin throws a shoulder at the top of the rope, but they are watching this like a hawk. No opportunity right now from anybody from UTA to start making some of these moves. This could be the rotation where we're starting to see OU really pull away from it. They've held this for at least for the first 30 seconds. Nyjah trying to open on up. It's not going to be there. Quaff, the shots are in, but you don't actually get the elimination. You slide on through. Do you get lucky? You do. That's 3 dead in the feed. For UTA, they'll at least be able to find enough to gain some of the few remaining seconds on this point, but OU, they gathered the most of it here. They're already kind of looking to go over towards P3 and start trying to make their way for that.
I mean, you just traded 40 for essentially 5 if you are the Boomer Sooners. You're feeling pretty darn good about that, especially because you're starting to get pressure through the triple building. Needs to be traded out. Austin's last alive. He's on a 5 spree, and you would love to be able to get this streak. Still get the back spawns if you are the Mavericks. Austin wins a big one up top. Remains on this 6 spree. Can they find more? Teammates showing up big towards the backside of this spawn. Could be a massive moment here for the Mavericks.
Mavericks would love to carry this momentum. While yes, maybe you lost a lot on that P2, you answer right back here onto the P3. Nyjah trying to play that cut, and oh, you had the setup. It's just not enough, though. Austin has to go huge here. There's 1, there's 2. It's not a third, but the teammate, Guaf, he's able to come on in and able to help clear it on out. So right now, UTA doing a fantastic job holding down on this rotation from P2 down into the depths of P3 here. Nyjah getting some good shots. Guaf there for the trade. Tate, can you do something through Spiral?
This was a really good hard point for them in the first set, but that was all off of the break. This time they are set up for the hold. Tate does find 2, dropping down through Spiral. To your point, what can they find? Maybe an opportunity, but that's just getting in towards the courtyard for now. You are the Boomer Sooners. These nades need to be on point, but it's just setting up routes from Urgent in this exact scenario. He absolutely flourishes. Starting to rack up a whole bunch of kills and setting up Guaf to boot up to 22 and 16.
Guaf doing a great job coming online alongside Austin. And for right now, they have just been holding this point on down, putting themselves right back into this game, only a couple of points behind. Looks like they'll continue to have this, probably go into the lead, to be honest with you, off this P3 as we're looking to start moving towards that P4. Kenzie, though, and again, gonna try and hit old. This is the second time. We saw it in the first rotation. We'll see it here in the second where, well, the Boomer Sooners, they try and hit old. And I don't know if they really need to. You're going to lose some pressure when you do that. And now look at this. It's Guaf. You hit the zip. You go to the top, and it gets a little windy there, but you finish the kill, and that's what matters.
Top 25 committee going to be sitting there scratching their heads. There's no way a 5 and 4 Mavericks out of UTA are doing this to the number 12 OU Esports. I just simply cannot believe it. Heads in hand. 2 to open up at least the rotation, going over towards the heavy artillery cannon. Get those back helicopter spawns if you are UTA, but the crossfire is looking pretty good for the trades out of OU.
He finds 2. I like this. You're kind of just keeping your eyes towards these top windows, towards the stairs, really trying to make sure nobody gets to push Lando for free, but the timing is on in. They're able to bring you on out, but the trades come on through. Urgent 2 HP and a dream. It's not going to be enough for dead in the feed for the Boomers Sooners, as the Mavericks will now look to try and make their way over to P2. But in this last rotation, this is where we saw Oklahoma University, they really got to run away with a lot of these points. Potential, if they play this like they did on that last set, that we could be ending the map here.
Good read from Lando. You did have a couple players in spawn towards the back. They're going to be prepared for this. I mean, they saw that Nigel was so over by Trips, and they are. Good read coming through from Tate. He's going 1-for-1 with being traded out by Lando, but pressure starting to open up from the back. The timing starting to be pressured out from Guav. Has a good angle to help out his teammates from the back.
That's a good read. A little bit of patience goes a long way. You find one, but it is just all trades for Oklahoma University. Lets them sit on that point. About to just be moments away from closing out map number 1. Austin from below will be able to find one. Can you make a move on the stairs? You're already getting shot. You're getting tagged on up. Your teammate goes on down. It's you against the world, and it's unfortunately not gonna happen. Oklahoma University take a map number 1. Got a little shaky there, Proper, not gonna lie, but it's off the back of just basically almost full 60s on P2 on that basically second and third rotation that nets them the win. It was really back and forth, but I don't know what it was. UTA could just not rip them off this P2.
Yeah, I mean, very respectable scoreline when it comes down from UTA Esports. I'm sure they're going to have a certain pep in their steps going in towards that map number 2. And like, it's not for a lack of practice. Like, OU Esports have played here quite a bit. I mean, they are 6-0 on the map mode combination, for crying out loud. It's just how well UTA Esports were playing against what was trying to be produced out of the Boomer Sooners. And it was just a lot of egregious pressure just early on. Instead of for these very early or easy crossfires, very simplistic nades being designed. And I'm not just trying to sit there and downplay on the success that we just saw from UTA Esports. It's just more of like how easy it was to play against even a top 12 team when all they try to think about is just raw aggression. It's not going to be that easy here in the restructure, Dan. Even though they are 5-4, you cannot take these Mavericks for granted.
No, absolutely. And it definitely felt like earlier on, maybe that's what it was, but we kind of see going through that second set where it feels like they really tighten things on up. And I'm really curious to see this graph because, yeah, it felt like on that first set, it was definitely kind of slowed down a little bit. But then once we got through, you can even just look at that through the P4 to the P1 to the P2, just a single point given to UTA. Just a great way to just put away the map here when you get ready to move on through. And that kind of just feels like was basically the bread and butter. When you even look at the rotation before that, the P4 to P1 to P2, that's where Oklahoma University really kind of skyrocketed. They almost, they basically get that full 60, and it's on that next rotation they get the full 60 again. Whereas I feel like for UTA, they were really relying on this P2 to P3 to potentially P4 to kind of do the same, but you just were not able to really keep on up with them. Really close. Definitely want to give the hats off to UTA, but definitely felt like you understood where basically their power spikes were in that map and when to really put their foot on the gas.
Yeah, I really got to praise the annotations. Like you're talking about, the initial P2, rather contested. The second P2, played for spawns, played for the space, made sure that they maintained the spawns. And even in the third set, when they still played for all of that, they still had one player that was pushed over towards Trips. They knew immediately what that meant. Like, they also understood what the spawn logic was for P2. It is obviously where they generated most of the time and the reason why they maintain such a healthy lead, especially towards the latter half of the second set. So Protocol will remain the venue. This time we're going to hop over towards a Search and Destroy, where things should slow down ever so slightly. Again, AAARs, sometimes, depending if you're going for a bang-out download by screens, but all things considered in these early rounds, I'm sure we're going to be seeing the latter of those two, given that there are no trophy systems.
Yeah, very curious to see how these teams are going to play some of these breakoffs. How are you going to try and go for some of those catches? I feel like one of the things that we did see was that playing as a team, it felt like at times UTA, the Mavericks, were a little bit better as playing as a team, right? It was always about being able to play those trades that would then kind of net them into a positive situation. We know how prominent that has to be on a map like Protocol for Search and Destroy, or because it's so big and you're so wide open, you have to kind of sometimes make some of those plays where even though, yes, you are just kind of trying to maybe play like windows, top trips, or you're kind of playing in towards that middle side. Even just playing with a teammate to ensure that you're making those trades is huge, because any elimination can potentially open up the map so much. And just that one pick lets maybe one of your subs make a rotation for free, and then you're starting to make some of these plays. You're hitting from an angle, hitting a timing that the teams are just not expecting, right? So you have to really be on your A game. I think UTA, you hopefully kind of look at that hard point and you understand that you were in it for a lot of it. Kind of just shake it off, roll it off your back, get locked on into this search and destroy, because we're staying here on protocol. It'll be our last time we see it in this set. And this is your last opportunity to try and lock in a map where you're hoping that maybe you don't have to go full aggression, because basically after we do this, guess what? It is just basically bang out after bang out after bang out left in this map set.
Yeah, it's just gonna, the pace will continue to ramp up as the series goes along to at least guarantee the Skyline hard point. It would be beneficial, obviously, to win this one. You don't want to be going down 0-2, obviously, the forehead statement of the evening out of me, I'm sure. But the early half of this best of 5 is where it's more favorable for UTA Esports. And I will say this much: if you want anything to kind of grasp onto, if you are a fan of the Mavericks, or just something to maybe try to keep in mind against OU Esports, it is kind of the understanding of all the timings that were down low inside of screens. The one thing that we got to see, one P4 was pop like urgent. Didn't have the sexiest KD ratio in the map number 1, Dan. We know this, but in that P4, he was finding a lot of good times through Spiral. They were getting a lot of good nade times throughout the entirety of that, including Austin and Guaf, to be able to play around screens, plus the head glitches as well. Very difficult to try to break things up. It's just about being able to put themselves in that situation. Their breaks throughout that map number 1, not exactly something to write home about. They kind of squeaked away with a handful of breaks from the front, but be more interested to see what it's going to look like if they do have to go for a full 4v4 retake here on Protocol. Happens quite often.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, Search and Destroy UTA was, when we looked at the head-to-head, one of those, one of those maps or modes that they don't necessarily do super great on. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully you got the reps. You're feeling good about Protocol. This is the UTA choice of map, so you're obviously feeling pretty solid on it. And we're already seeing a bang out here down at the screens. Lando slides on out. Jackal PDW. Tate's going to grab a 2-piece. Okay, well, you thought it was going to be a 4-man movement, and unfortunately, you watch it all crumble at your feet. Not even able to get out of the room there, bottom zip.
Yeah, again, like the problem of the early days when it comes to a Protocol Search and Destroy, it will be that bang out through the bottom center. Again, no trophy systems, like I was saying earlier, but it's in the aggression. We know that OU Esports are going to absolutely flourish. It's kind of been like their entirety of a namesake, has it not? They are ranked number 12 for a reason, and they remain undefeated for such a cause. Got to be prepared about that if you are UTA Esports. Not enough time to be able to accrue a trophy system in that previous round, I'm sure of it, so this one could be just as fast.
We'll see where the breakoff is here now that OU goes onto the offense. Nija's made their way through top spiral. Orlando cuts down urgent. Tate unfortunately loses a huge gunfight. Zamo goes down at the hands of Osto as well. Kenzie and Lando, you do have bomb. You're kind of getting pincer right now from some of these UTA members.
Your biggest problem is that you're just kind of separated from each other. I can say he's just got to try to cut through the entirety of the map. Lando's got to hold his life. Finds the first, and Kenzie's right there on the cross to find the second. Oh, it just shouldn't have been broken up that easily. Unbeknownst to all of the Mavericks, you had the player top trips dead to rights. It's just about collapsing on the play and just retaking all of your terrain. Because that doesn't end up happening, it allows Kenzie to be able to force the issue through the middle of the map, clear a lot of this land, had an aims for these long to mid-range gunfights. OU just kind of stole one away, in my opinion.
I 100% agree. I feel like Lando was basically kind of dead to rights there. Top trips, 100% agree. You should be playing that together. Should not be allowed to just really go for that nice little laser beam and then just is able to slide back on up. Thankfully, he does have a Jackal PDW in the back pocket, so feels pretty good about that fight. Like, I don't know, a little bit unfortunate to see that happen here. We're already seeing some early aggression coming on out. First blood going in it to the side of OU again, and oh my God. Lando 5-1 on a 4 streak. You find 2. Can you find one more? No, Nija will cut you down. Does not let that go anymore, but it's a 1v3 here, and it's a very, very quick round on a map that's supposed to have these long-standing rounds that take forever, if you are a squad that's coming out and setting a pace like this early, it's really hard to stop them.
It's systematic. It's orchestrated just by either Tate or Lando finding the first blood, but this time it was Tate for that first blood through the middle of the map. It caused a lot of alarm bells to go off for UTA that they had to cover that cross, and maybe a secondary pusher was going to be coming out, but it's Lando just aggressively hitting all the way through the north lane, getting behind enemy lines for 2. The creak of the door, bomb dropped. Golly, it was so fast.
It's going to be it now. Samo yet again. First blood on Anijah. It is just this immediate pressure into the round from OU. They are just getting all of the first bloods. It's giving them all of the opportunity they need to just kind of be able to move around the map. And look at this, Guaf. You're sitting outside Spiral. You're trying to think of how can we sort of make some moves here. You know that bomb is going down and you have to figure out what you want to do, but you got 3 members from OU. You're just holding this on down saying, hey, bet, come on, try and get us out of here. Have fun. Austin going to try and make that happen, but it's this crazy heady. It's going to make it very difficult.
Austin going to be able to at least find 2. Dead to rights, though. Just slide through easy trades. And you could see just through the early doors, like UTA were full on wanting to try out like what I was interested in, was the full 4v4 retake. They wanted none of the smoke down low because Tate has just been a first blood phenom. This time around, it was Zamo, like you were talking about. He just gets over towards the AA gun. He gets a nasty head glitch, sees the player all the way back, Chopper, who was just designated to watch the lane in case anybody pushed through. But he lost his life. Poor Nija, not expecting how quickly his head was going to get ripped off. And it forces a 3v4 retake. You're already down in numbers, having to retake it in impossible situations, surrounded by trophies. It's been all OU Esports, minus the one that they stole away. They have an RCXD to try to find information forward.
On Kenzie already, yet again, continuing the theme of this map. And that is OU First Bloods. Virgin gets brought on down. Guaf tries to take this fight, but it is just a flurry of trades back and forth that yet again leaves Austin, the last one alive in UTA. They're not even getting a chance to get info. They didn't even get a chance to get set up. They're moving around the map, and the next thing you know, it's just trades on trades on trades. I feel like I'm on the New York floor here proper. And then next thing you know, it's just Austin against the world, and you just can't win that.
Yeah, I mean, Austin being that guy that's sitting all the way in the back, just expecting somebody to push through that courtyard area. I can see the vision if you are UTA Esports. You're lost 4 straight, now 5. You're trying to get aggressive to the top side of the map. I don't think their stuns or nades found a single lick of information to your point there, Dan. So, easy gunfight wins out of OU. Looking for a 6-0 sweep.
It's a movement down towards A. Stack's kind of coming on through. I like this setup right now from OU. Austin throws a shoulder. Won't commit his life. Zamo gonna go ahead. Watch this drop. Make sure nobody gets down in here for free. And, well, you just have this wall of OU players. Guav trying to throw this shoulder. Not letting that happen. You break the trophy system. So Lando's gonna feel good about trying to drop a nade. Right on in there. Lando's actually going to claim first blood on Anijah. Austin goes down. Tate finds the 3rd. Where's the 4th? You fly on it. It's a quick 6-0. For Oklahoma University, the Boomer Sooners answering back after a, well, pretty back and forth hard point. They make their position known here in the search and destroy.
Yeah, I mean, down low in screens, it was just all OU, and this was always going to be an uphill battle for the Mavericks just to try to combat it against just the sheer ferocity of how quickly the SMGs get into these positions, the, I guess, tacticals that were being used so wonderfully for OU Esports to be able to get that information to produce how far forward they were able to get. And just the ARs being able to, if the SMGs weren't finding the first bloods or finding some crafty routes across the map of protocol, the ARs were ripping the other ones on the opposite side for the Mavericks to smithereens round after round. I'm interested to see the breakdown as far as the 6 rounds that we got of the map number 2. Now, I don't even think that UTA got a single first blood. If they did, it immediately got traded. Numbers advantage was only there's a single round, but even in that 2v3, they still got broken up and they lost. In that final round, in that round number 6, I finally got the question that I asked about like 6 minutes ago before we hopped into the map number 2, Dan. What's the 4v4 retake look like? The answer, not good. It's a flawless hold.
Yeah, the answer is, I guess let's just bang it out. Yeah, it literally doesn't get more carnage than what is currently on your screen, folks. It is 6 rounds in the favor of OU, 6 rounds of first blood, and it's 6 rounds of just all eliminations. Not even a get the bomb down, not even get a defuse. It is just, yo, sup, we're going to run at you. We're going to absolutely slay you out. Have fun. Try and keep up. Oh, you didn't. GG's. Let's go to Hacienda.
What do you need me for? That was perfect analysis.
Yeah, okay,
Hacienda
great.
Control could very much so be the last map as far as this best of 5 is concerned. I mean, a reverse sweep maybe for UTA Esports, but it's just not looking good. They've been around 5 a handful of times, and they do have a 3-0 Hacienda Control win over Texas A&M Maroon, but the guys for the Boomer Sooners, the number 12 OU Esports, they are humming.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see what is going on in that control. Folks, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be jumping into that control. Before we go, we want to remind everybody, if you're now just joining us, we got a pin message in chat there. I saw Seymour trying to hype it up as well. Huge shout out to my boy Colin in chat. Of course, College COD is now partnered with Scuff. Head over to scuff.co/collegecod and dominate the competition with the brand new Valor Pro. Scuff is now the exclusive controller partner of College COD. Super excited to have them on board. Definitely go on over, check them out. They are looking good. Glad that we can have them here supporting a great initiative here at College COD. But don't go anywhere. When we come back, will we see UTA find some signs of life, take the control, and push us one more map? Or will the Boomer Sooners continue the dominance we've seen? Only one way to find out, and that's go ahead and play it. So don't go anywhere. I got more College COD coming your way. Well, players are ready to go already, so you don't need to listen to us yap for too much longer, because we're dropping on into the Hacienda Control, baby. Oklahoma University, they're hot off the heels of a 6-0 search and destroy. Probably want to make this one a 3-0 if they can. Get on with their night, as Lando is going to go ahead and claim first blood. That's actually a 2-piece for him. And, well, already OU kicking us off hot.
Yep. I mean, just continuing on with the destruction, right? We talked about the double protocol, how they could try to slow up the pace. UTA had the opportunity. When we get into Hacienda, it's all going to be fast-paced. We need to see what Austin and Guaf were able to put together on that protocol hardpoint. Really gave the number 12 ranked OU Esports a run for their money, but the opening break-off thus far for UTA's offense starting to work up that first segment final.
Well, they made their way onto the point. Nyjah needs to do a great job sitting here.
Oh,
it is just a straight-up good old school dolphin dive. Mix it with a little bit of Omni movement. It looked absolutely insane. Trades going on through. Urgent will be able to continue to gain some of these progression that is here, but they'll stop it just before the second tick. You'd love to get on and clear that if you are Oklahoma University. There is going to be some more progress at A. They'll get that second tick on the way through as they go ahead to try and claim the third, get a little bit more time on the board. Austin doing a great job, though, lurking in the shadows, picks one up off the top. And so for right now, Oklahoma, off the break, it was basically all theirs. But since then, UTA, signs of life, they're kind of coming on back into this.
And 27 seconds on the clock, though, UTA. This is kind of their big attempt right now. Urgent's the only one alive. Actually picks a really good corner. Gets good timing on the player trying to drop down. Does he just solo capture this off of more pressure over by the rock? Wow. 15 plays up against 11. This is a sequence of events. Guaf would have loved to have that elimination back top office, but just means that UTA got to back off for now. They still have that life lead.
This is kind of the conversation, right, that's been going on with Hacienda Control. Sometimes you actually want this offensive side, so people just feel way more comfortable with it. And for right now, UTA seems like they are feeling great when it comes to this, except when you got Zamo in the back. Pulling up an easy 2-piece as you line him up. He knocks him on down. 10 plays 8. 55 seconds remaining to play. And I like this. Just get on back here, kind of hopefully force out some of those spawns. But I'm looking at OU on this mini-map, and you are just not helping your team towards this B side at all. You got 2 players out in Narnia. You don't have all of this opportunity to kind of throw these lives away to just kind of play on out here. Help your team over towards the objective.
30 seconds remain on the clock, and I think OU at this point, not necessarily worried about directly going back towards the zone, but this is what makes the B zone so difficult to try to capture. It's all the routes continuously coming through. What was a 5-life lead, now it just leads by 1. Your biggest adversary, the clock.
Coming on down. No respawns remaining for Oklahoma University. You've been able to get onto the point now. Guaf will be able to invest that trophy system as well. Absolutely huge. Stun goes up to the top, and it's actually a team nade that comes in from Lando that cuts down Tate. It's Zamo, last one alive, though. If you can clear out this point, you might have enough time. Gun just not up in time. UTA will win the first offense. So I like the aggression. They come on out. It felt like there wasn't a lot of challenge there on that A side, if I'm being honest with you. On the side of Oklahoma University, just no opportunity to try and rip them off, kind of give them the first point for free, and then you're just kind of playing on the back foot the entire time.
Yeah, it's just like Protocol Hardpoint, right? They're just the trade game coming through for UTA Esports. They're finding ways of like slowing down the pace and putting Austin in these very annoying positions. His lurks through top office meant that it was continuous pressure over by Rock. It meant continuous pressure through you as well, that OU Esports were scrambling, that it called for a lot of heroic plays that just never happened. So UTA, they do get those 4 segments, but ultimately they get an offensive round win. It calls for the number 12 OU Esports. The Sooners need to answer.
This will be a great round to do it. 3 dead already. Tate, unfortunately, will get cut down towards that top hall. But you got Kenzie playing around this outside, maybe trying to make a play. It's not there, but it's an early aggressive push over towards B. Got 2 players already there. Okay. Trades will come on through. Guaf trying to hit some sort of wrap. You do have a trophy system nearby if you are OU. Gonna happen. Slides back and forth. Lando finds one in the back.
How is he still alive on this push?
I don't know.
He was the tip of the spear that touched the B zone first. He's the one that got that segment of progression. And he's still alive, just lurking around up on a 4 spree. Just breaking the ankles. It's going to call for 2 Maverick defenders to peel back and just try to find where they're located at. Means that Tate can now join the offense. The onslaught over by B, they'll touch the zone.
Maybe you can make this pincer. This would be huge. Guaf will find one on the back. Still got 2 players playing towards that top office. It is contested. Flies them forward. Guaf will find one and starting to clear 3 dead in the feed. UTA not letting the Sooners get onto the point at all. You see they're all going to spawn up over there towards that Lambo side. So you're basically so far away from the one point that you had any amount of progress on. So you got to make this understanding. Do we try and make a play, or do we start just trying to stack A right now? You don't even have an opportunity, though, because UTA is cutting you on down. 10 seconds left in the round. You don't even have time to try and even think about getting on one of these points.
Austin looking to play for the spree. 6 in a row. Wants to try to get that Hellstorm. It'd be so influential for your success. And it is just a 1-segment hold. UTA Esports came to play in a map mode combination again, which calls for aggression. Hacienda, since it was brought into the life of the Call of Duty community back in BO4, is just riddled with aggression. Obviously, back in 5v5, you have the extra body on the field, but even here in 4v4, they're finding ways of slowing down the pace, and it's putting Austin on a pedestal to step up and be that X factor. We saw it from Guaf and Austin together in that map 1 Urgent at certain points in time, but this is probably the best UTA has looked so far. Again, against other top cut teams, it was a round 5 loss against Texas State and a 3-0 versus Texas A&M Maroon. They have experience on this memo combination. They're letting OU have it.
Which is just also shows some great mental fortitude. You get 6-0'd, right? I think a lot of people would crumble after that, but not UTA. Not going to let that happen. So if you are Oklahoma University, it's time to go back-to-back. Do exactly what UTA just did. Win this defensive round. Get a little aggressive on your offensive. Push to a round number 5. So far already, you lose some crucial members that are there, and it's already some progress going in towards B. You have a player, Guaf, already making their way towards the point. Aisha will get cut on down. Urgent will get found out as well. It's a full circle in. And there you go. You're able to do that, clear out this point. Not let them get that much opportunity to run away with it.
Urgent was probably the most important player in that 2-hold position over by the B control zone. Needed to at least go 1, hold his life, but they're back towards the pressure, back top bottom office. Guaf's going to get one for free alongside Austin, so they're back on this pincer effect, but they separate from each other. Calls for the trade. It's not there immediately. Should be easily retraced if you are OU Esports. We're right back just to letting the clock dwindle down.
UTA not really getting an opportunity to get on any of these points. This might be their first time here as they're starting to make their way towards this B side. They do already have one tick done. Second tick very quickly making its way on over. Austin will be able to find Kensei. Zamo getting cut down as well. So UTA doing a great job holding down this B. Nigel, you got to play your life. Stay alive here, my friend. Tate, though, pistol in hand, finds one. It's still contested. And that's actually going to be enough. They'll be able to clear off this third tick. Got 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Oklahoma University, you might have done it just now, but you've moved on over towards A. An interesting decision here from the Mavericks.
Austin's making a play, though. He's made the route all the way past Boathouse. He re-wrapped all the way through you. Nija's going to find another one top office. They can hop on the B zone, work this last segment, but it's just one player. He's got one over by you. Nija needs to win this one, needs to buy time for his teammates to show up. Somehow wins it. It buys enough time.
Buys enough time, but the clock is ticking. Urgent. You have to go huge here. You find one at the plat. Somehow you've been able to make it around the point. It's Austin at A. Not even at the same point, but that same dolphin dive is there. Tate finds two. Oklahoma University, they're able to hold on. It got a little mixy at the end. You know, UTA is trying to do whatever they can just to get on any of these points to stop the clock. A strong opportunity to take literally either of them, put a minute back on the clock, and then, you know, you can actually start making some setups, making some work for it. But some great ice out of Oklahoma University, not letting that happen.
It was this play right here out of Tate. I mean, he just somehow walks away, not only with his life, but the assistance to come through from his teammates all off the respawn block. Even off of the first kill, not being immediately traded, the last two players for the Mavericks, way too weak to try to go for that challenge. That was the moment that UTA could have had that B zone dead to rights. Could have added extra time on the board and maybe try to pivot over towards A quickly. This time, though, OU Esports obviously need to answer back with an offense to stay alive in this control and keep the trio alive, but if they could do it via segments, they're feeling pretty darn good. But Nija's shooting pretty darn straight right now, and it's a good opening out of the Mavs.
Mavs planning some of these early eliminations. Urgent hits a great opportunity for a flank, brings them on down towards the fence side. And we're seeing three of these players over towards the rock, and Austin, okay, baby! Give him the three-piece. I saw somebody in chat saying, I think agreed. I think Austin maybe he learned that his controller wasn't overclocked or something. Maybe he's not using a scuff. I don't know what's up, but maybe somebody finally handed him something, because holy, starting to absolutely shoot nukes now. A fantastic three-piece will force all of Oklahoma University to spawn towards that backside. They got to kind of make their way out of this first third of the map, though. Nija's going to make it difficult.
6 life lead. Now up to 7. Clock down sub 30 seconds, and the setup is just so good. They're just running routes. Waff like a ghost. Even low HP goes for the reach out. Knew that Lando was one shot, no stimmy. Down to 16 seconds. Desperation setting in.
Gotta make a play here. 16 seconds, like you mentioned. B zone is going to be where they're going to start moving on towards. But Austin may have just hit the route. He did. There's one. There's two. It's a three-piece. Next life about to be a two-piece. Tate trying to make something off the top rope. UTA, they don't even let it be close. It was by the skin of their teeth that OU was able to take that last round. UTA answer on back with some dominance here with a 3-1 on the Hacienda control. Let's remind folks here proper, this was the OU map pick. This is what they wanted to play, and they did not look good on it.
Wonder how much the top 25 rankers are probably going to be thinking about this one. The committee is going to be going buck wild crazy in the Discord chat, I'm sure, because that is not on anybody's bingo card. Surely not mine, surely not OU Esports, but the double positive out of Austin will be good enough. That scoreboard is a lie. Trust me, you. Yeah. I was keeping track of it every single time we hopped on towards that POV. That guy was going freaking nuts. I mean, just about 400 damage shy of 4K with the Jackal, was running around constantly. These are just things that you just simply cannot make up. It's like you said, good mental fortitude for one. You kept things close in the map 1. You get blown out of the waters in that map number 2 to come back and force out a map number 4. We're starting to get into uncharted territory right here out of UTA. Big map win.
I love it. I mean, this is what we live for. It's these series that are close. It's some signs of life, but if you are UTA, you still have to play perfect from here on out, right? You did the far part. You took the Hacienda control. Great. We're going back into the hard point. It was pretty mixy when we were on the protocol that was there. Skyline, though, it's about to turn up the heat even more. But Austin, off of that control, feeling really, really solid. The gun is hot. If you are OU right now, you may be thinking about Skyline and be like, man, like, these guys are kind of shooting now. Is this really the map we want to be trying and win at? Because if not, you're going back to the search and destroy. So I guess if you are Oklahoma University, at least feel good. You're like, yo, even if we drop the Skyline hardpoint, we're about to potentially go for another 6-0 on the vault search and destroy. But you know them, they would love to end it here, end it on the hardpoint, make it a 3-1. Great, you had a good control, fantastic, but prove that you are the 9-0 team that should be here and not this 5-4. I think that's the biggest thing I've kind of realized here proper, is that I think if we weren't looking at the you know, kind of scores here, we probably would have assumed that these were two very close teams when it came to their records. And it's just not the case in actuality, but they're looking very good.
It's like I said, man, against every single top cut team that they place or they faced up against before the restructure actually happened, they've always kept it close for UTA Esports for at least one map. I mean, even the round 5 versus Oklahoma Christian, that was also on Hacienda Control. And it does kind of speak volumes when you think about it. Going in towards the Skyline hardpoint, I don't hate it. I mean, 0-1 as far as a record is concerned. That one loss was by 9 points, and it was the map 1 versus Texas State. So I don't hate it. And I talk about the uncharted territory because you have not played this yet if you are OU Esports. Same thing for the Vault Search and Destroy. So whether they have scrimmed it before or not, this is something that they have not tested before. On the other side, yes, 0-1 for the back latter half of the best of 5 series for the Sooners, but still, nonetheless, all off of that map number 3 hoorah and off of history alone versus another top cut team. I think Spirit's got to be lifted as far as that camp is concerned.
Yeah, no, you're definitely feeling the vibe, right? I mean, that control kind of started off like a little slow, just a little bit, but it feels like they just got their guns high. And it was everybody on that team was doing great job. I feel like we saw some really huge plays, some great signs of life on literally every member of UTA in that map number 3 to help them secure it. Obviously, we talked about how huge it was for Austin going off, but Guaf as well was doing a great job playing like a ghost, like you said, was doing a fantastic work of just being able to kind of get that one and get out. Would always get his one, get on out. And then you had, I always feel like we saw Nija and Urgent doing a great job playing around the objective, making sure that no members of Oklahoma University were really able to get on in there. So some great stuff there. I'd love to see OU, some people need to step on up. I feel like in that map, we didn't see signs of greatness from anyone, right? It wasn't like they had one person who was going absolutely berserk and it was just hard to convert off their kills. It was just kind of felt very flat from the Sooners overall. So you cannot be flat on a Skyline hardpoint, though. That is one thing we know for sure. It's going to be fast. It's going to be reckless. Let's get it started. Map number 4. And already moving on over here, trying to flip those spawns. You got to move it on over. It's 2 dead in the feed for OU, but Kenzie's going to answer back with their own double kill.
Just trying to maintain this side of the map. He saw immediately once Guaf realized a lot of his teammates did die. He had to start running the route towards top piano just to try to rectify any losses that could have been soon after. Austin, though, back in towards a hard point, just picking things back up where he left off in that map number 3. A good 2-0 start. Didn't hold on to the spawns forever, though. OU Esports starting to spawn in towards the back. Flipped once again. UTA Esports need to maintain this side.
Exactly what you want. Tate, though, we'll be able to find one. Nija trying to stay alive. Urgent on the flip. So you got a couple people slipping on through. Will get found. Tate on the top finds a huge 2-piece, but UTA is just not letting any members of Oklahoma to move on forward. They're continuing to hold this side of the map, doing a great job just applying this pressure, but it's 3 members from the Sooners. They're trying to make their way through that side. You've already been able to find one on Urgent. Can you work this together as a team to take P2? It looks like you might be able to. Final member will fall. Okay. Sooners showing they have what it takes to make this break. Get some points on the board.
Yep. Break comes in. Still 30 seconds left to soak. The setup is a good one. Good trade, so at least speak of. But Austin still finds the hole in the net and just pushes on forward, finds another 2. The break comes through. The back 20 seconds should be secured because the Sooners cannot overextend. Got to play for the back spawns, and allows Austin just to slip the net again. He's behind the play, shoots a little bit too early, forces out a TK, and Austin's staying alive.
Guaf has also made their way behind the bar. You throw a little bit of a shoulder. Nija We'll secure a lot of those points there on that P2. And then move on over to P3. Hops on up. Playing behind this bar. Nija AR in hand. Nice trade. Do not give them any amount of space. Kenzie, though, will be the one to answer on back. And it's just these close spawns Oklahoma is getting are an absolute godsend for them. But it's Austin. Kind of a little bit of an overheat there. Was very close on grabbing it. Just decides to push on out just a little bit more. This has been very, very mixy. Back on fourth, but somehow Oklahoma, they've been able to secure just a little bit of points here and there throughout the mixer.
Yeah, Austin really does have the bumper sticker that says live or die by the superstar or at this moment of time. Got to dial it back ever so slightly, help his team and get a little bit more space further forward before things get too awry. But this lead is great for UTA through the first set. Biggest problem headed in towards New. They don't have the spawns towards the back. This time the Sooners are going to get the first setup.
All right, we know how much it's possible to just absolutely soak this hill. You would absolutely love to see this if you are OU. Get back on into the game. Urgent's going to make it a little bit difficult finding one in the back, as does Nija. That's two of your teammates down. It's just going to be a couple of fly on forward to be able to bring him. Couple of Mavericks surrounding this bathroom. Want to pull Lando on out of it, and they do. Nobody from the Sooners really around here to make any of these trades, and Austin will find in the back Kenzie trying to make a play. So you had all the setup. You were feeling good if you were OU, and it's just a break coming on through as Austin just stuffs you with the tip of his Jackal PDW to rip you off the point. Gun is hot after that control.
I don't even know which one he was meaning to shoot originally.
Everyone. It was just everybody in front of him.
Yeah, sees red, pulls trigger, whole hard point lead now for UTA as we go towards P1 again. Who had this going in towards Skyline? Austin has come alive. 13 in 10, 12 and 9 for Guaf. The usual suspects coming alive again. What we saw in that protocol, the difference is the pace. They are making OU Esports uncomfortable. Zamo, one of their ARs, 4 in 10, can't get posted up. They can never get enough numbers in and around the hard point. The breaks have been sublime for UTA. They're playing for spawns. It's good Call of Duty all around out of UTA.
Yeah, UTA just playing some great fundamental COD right now that I feel like is really kind of coming alive as we're seeing them. They're losing some key gunfights. They'll be 4 down in the feed, though. Oklahoma University not going to let it get too far out of their hands. They are down basically a full 60 at this point as P1 will come to a close. Hate, though, finding a great elim on that back. Player trying to hold those spawns. But at least we'll be able to hopefully get there. And it looks like they maybe, and I don't know, these are some weird parallel spawns I'm seeing come on through. If you're Lando, you need to have this huge win. There you go. There's one. Can you find a second? It's a little bit wiry. Grenade goes down to the bottom of the stairs. Can you catch them? You can with your gun, though. Lando starting to heat on up. It's looking solid. OU have made their way onto the point. Only 40 seconds left here, but still, this is a huge opportunity for you to get back into this game.
Yeah, it was a small moment there in between P1 becoming deactivated and P2 becoming activated. There was nobody inside the time. Spawns, as you were saying, went parallel. It's been scrappy soon after. OU trying to stabilize that. Last player alive will be Nija. Lando does take down 2, albeit one being a TK. And they should set up to at least get the back 20 seconds. UTA going to be feeling okay about this. They still maintain the lead. They got the rotation towards New. At least they did. They're overextending Dan. Luckily enough, Urgent still spawns in towards the back, but Spawn's starting to flip. UTA did not need to go for this scrap time. Might come back to bite them. We'll see.
We'll have to wait and see. Spawns will come on in. Bard goes ahead. Pops on up. And Austin yet again.
How?
He's like, this is like one of those moments where you watch somebody and you go, your Jackal hits different. Like, my Jackal does not do anything like that, nor does people I watch Jackals do that. I don't know what's going on, but Austin is on a different level right now.
That Texas fiber got to be hidden, man. I mean,
it's got to be it. I don't know what it is, but right now, OU answering on back. They made this one pretty close here, proper. It's been a grind fest for them to get back here, but they are now making this a 20-point game. 2 minutes 47 on the clock. Going up into this next point will be absolutely huge. And well, they got the spawns. They're holding it here in the back. You don't need to push too far on forward. I like this. Kenzie will kind of go wide, finds one, but it's Tate towards the top. You catch one through the skylight, and you're immediately looking down towards C-Dom. Can you manage to bring them on down? You've gained control of P4, though. You have to hold this. You cannot get broken like you did on the last set.
And Lando and Tate really starting to work well together. They now have a combined 46 kills. Lando giving up the front. Here comes the contest. Didn't check inside of the shower. Spawn will be maintained. And there's still plenty of time to fight for here inside of the current hill. 25 and 20 out of Austin, and there's nobody stepping up to try to match that pace. Lando and Tate have answered back.
On the backside, though, Kenzie tries to take that fight. The trades are in, though. Tate coming around. You hear a little bit of a stamped foot behind you. Immediately rip the guy off the stairs. Coming on through. Lando from the shower brings it on in. OU doing a great job now of making a read of where these players are pushing on in from and being able to cut them on down. Not even letting them get anywhere close to the point is what you want. Final 10 seconds on point will be here, and I like this call. Get some of the scrap time if you can. You'll gain the lead for the first time since I think probably a little bit of P1 in this game. But it's now all tied up. We move on into the next set. Lando playing from Jin's side. We'll be able to find one. Finds two. It's a great way for you to push on forward and grab spawns. Unfortunately, you do get cut on down. So you find two, but UTA answers back. Finds three in the feed.
UTA's P1 has just been so good. I mean, between the first two sets, they have maybe put up about 60, maybe 70 points between P1. It should be scrappy, and finally OU starting to crack the code. A lot of top bridge control. NC's going to be allowed to play top bedroom, but gets crossed up from behind. Still trying to maintain the spawns are UTA, but OU are more worried about just generating time. They're going to flip the lead again.
Urgent. Piano side, just kind of throwing the shoulder that's there to go down. Nyjah playing alongside the point, though. We'll get caught on out. It's Urgent on the backside. I don't know if he saw him.
I didn't.
You can hit this timing with your team. This would be fantastic. Zamo on the outside, though. Guaf gets found by Tate. It's Austin on the bottom. Are you going to hit the zip? Try and make a play here. Tate might make this read. No. You go from the bottom. You find one bottom piano, and there you go ahead. You hit it. Opportunity denied, though, for you to make some moves.
Urgent's still playing for the spree. He's on 6 in a row. Austin's now on a couple as well. 30 seconds left to fight over here. One player actually spawns in towards the back. Zamo gets behind enemy line. Somehow, some way, Guaf will be there for the trade. The spree did end out of Urgent. Don't think that he got enough for the Hellstorm missile. We'll have to find out, but OU not done trying to fight for this yet. There's still a good amount of time to try to fight for it.
Urgent swinging wide. Oh, gets a little windy there. Tried to go for one. Immediately moves on over, snaps to the other, and it's just not enough. You got to decide which one are you going for there. Awesome, though, making his way through Jim. You find one. It's, well, Kenzie back piano, who will find both Austin and Urgent. Oklahoma kind of starting to run away with this just a tad, but we got the bar. It is popping right now, and Nyjah, well, he's not really serving drinks right now. He's serving bullets, that's for sure, as UTA are trying to get back into the mix.
I did a little bit of an egregious push out of Guaf, trying to cause a little bit of chaos, maybe trying to get top security. Leaves the push through the middle area more than open. The crossfire set up, head glitches galore. Austin for 2, because why not? 38 and 29. Trying to help his team, not only just flip the lead, but maybe try to close things out. They can't do it here, but they're going to get close.
Hey, looking for anybody playing it down below. Pushes on forward, will get caught by Guaf, and Zamo is going to be the one to immediately fly on through. Urgent waiting in the back, trying to play for these spawns right now, making sure that nobody's going to be able to push on through. And UTA, a great job for them to be able to hold on through. Unfortunately, Guaf gets taken on out by a trophy system. You hate to see that, but Lando trying to make some way here. That was almost a pretty gnarly two-piece. I like this. Nade in the back. Take a look up there. You find one. Okay. 8. Gonna try and push on through. Your one shot, and it's not gonna be enough. That's there. UTA, they'll hold it on in. All right. Well, we're going to a game 5, ladies and gentlemen.
Nobody had this. The 5 and 4 unranked UTA taking the number 12 Sooners to a map 5. I mean, this is like, I know who's producing this, but are you like employed by Disney? Because this feels like a Pixar film. I swear, man. Like, this reverse sweep feels just not real. Austin is dragging his team through the depths by way and assistance from his team for sure, but 43-30 is crazy. Like, Lando and Tate turned things up towards the tail end of the second set. We started getting lead flips back and forth towards the third set, sure, but I mean, that is just impressive amount of pressure, and we got to see some good fundamentals come through. You still got some shades of some things that plagued them in the previous few maps. I mean, they had a real good break attempt, maybe set up over by P2, but Urgent was too shy to pull the trigger because he was on a spree. Came back to bite them, but they still had a lead and a flip to be able to push a map 5. I'm shell-shocked right now that the Mavericks are in this position.
Yeah, the P3 to P4 to me is what really came on down. It's what literally got OU back into the game, and you can see that exactly right here. Into that P2, P3, P4, just OU not able to get anything to happen, okay? This will be very, very curious. You can see off of that same 3 points, it's literally just this 50-point run from UTA to kind of give them the win. Absolutely insane to see that this Oklahoma University team, while yes, they were basically playing from behind the entire way, it's through this sort of second set into the third that's like, wow, this is looking crazy, right? They go absolutely nuclear. They really bring this back into their favor and then just go flatline.
Yeah, I mean, it absolute just carnage there towards the end. Like I was saying, like Tate and Lando right towards that double helix area, it started turning things up. They started working really well off of one another, making sure that each of the angles were being covered by SMGs. But once one went down, one tried to pick up, at least for the trade, overwhelmed by numbers soon afterwards. Just good textbook Call of Duty being exemplified out of the 5-4 UTA Esports, taking the undefeated Sooners out of OU. 9-0. They've lost maps, but not series, man. And getting towards a map 5 for the Vault Search and Destroy. This is where things might be grim. I said that we were getting into uncharted territories. If you're looking at it for the Sooners' perspective, they're guaranteed to make playoffs, but they got to make sure that their map set is bolstered tight. They've never played a Skyline Hardpoint in CCL. They just lost the first one to UTA. They've never played a Vault Search and Destroy. Who's to say it might not happen here? The last time that we got a UTA Vault Search and Destroy, it went round 11, and it was against another top cut team of Texas A&M Maroon. So I think that, again, like I was saying, the tail end of the Special 5 does start to tailor a little bit more towards UTA, and it's starting to show a little bit. I think that the Sooners got to lock in a little bit, bud.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think lock in is a great way to say it. And it's interesting to me that this was the OU pick, and they are picking this Vault Search and Destroy. Could be one of those opportunities where they say, hey, we realize we made playoffs. We're coming on into this. Let's try some new maps in our map pool. Let's show how we can go ahead and play it. It's one thing to scrim them all day long. It's another to play it in a match that means something to you, especially against a team who's you thought maybe that you were going to be able just to feel good and be like, yeah, maybe it'll be close, but we'll still come out on top, right? And they're actually coming back and just hitting you with punch after punch and really putting you on down and making you work for it. That is for sure. So, we're getting on here into the game number 5. And yeah, it's interesting to me that OU is picking this Vault, like you mentioned, which they've never played in CCL before, whereas UTA, they definitely have a little bit more reps under their belt, especially when it comes to top teams. And what's interesting to kind of think about that too, Proper, you and I, we cast and watch a lot of Call of Duty, is like Vault is one of those maps that, like, while yes, it is a bang out, it's so easy to flip this map and like be able to play from a weird angle and understand how you want to move around it. How do you want to hit specifically this bomb site, which we're going to see 99% of the time, right? Like, you have to understand how to work as a team to play this. And if you don't have those reps, it might be very hard for you to get on in.
4v4 full on retake. No late util, perhaps. So, and we have lost connection to host. Well, that's kind of awkward. I don't know if we have a fix for that one, but that was about to be a 4v4 retake. That's all I really got.
Oh, we'll get
Producer, what do we got? What happened?
We'll wait to see whether we're gonna like be able to get on into that, or is that like a full lobby reset? We'll figure that out. Let's talk a little bit more about Vault S&D though, because I think that's what we were kind of doing before we hopped on in. Vault S&D, you're going down into that Vault, of course, bomb site every time. The 4v4 retake that you just mentioned there, I mean, kind of talk me through that in your opinion. Obviously, if you are the very experienced team that we kind of are aware of, UTA, versus somebody who's a little bit less experienced on this map, where do you think that could come back to bite them if you are the Sooners kind of trying to play this a little bit of a technical map?
Look, I mean, like, your point brings up another good counterpoint is that you go back to the protocol search and destroy. We finally got it there in round number 6, the 4v4 retake, UTA on the defense that time around. It didn't exactly work out, right? I mean, their 4v4 retakes, at least in the search and destroy map that they have never really played before, wasn't exactly astounding. But when it comes down to Vault, it just mostly just comes down to your timing more than anything. And this is some of the hesitation problems that I think could come back to bite them in the rear when you're looking at it from UTA's perspective. Just not necessarily trusting, okay, I'm hitting this timing. That means you got to give up your angle immediately and pinch that. Almost came back to hurt them in the Skyline map number 4 during P2, like I was pointing out. Might end up getting some of those cases as well, because Vault Search and Destroy, like you were talking about, you get a lot of that A bomb site. You got that B bomb site over there, but you realistically only see that happen there in a 2v2 or a 1v1. It's a very minute amount of times you actually see the bomb being planted in the opposite bomb site. But 4v4 retakes are pretty common when it comes down to Vault. More often than not, you get some pretty scrappy double SMG fiascos going down low. So I think it just comes down to what UTA have found success in the past several maps now, Dan. It is just pulling things back, slowing down the pace, trying to force out the issue out of OU Esports, because they're overextending quite a bit and they're isolating themselves, and UTA are catching them off guard.
No, I think that's a great way to put it. You know, it definitely feels like in those early maps, it was kind of just pure, you know, full carnage, full slamage. I mean, let's take a little bit of a look at that last search and destroy we played in this series. It was literally 6 rounds, all into the favor of Oklahoma University, and it was just all first bloods for them right earlier on in that protocol. And so what kind of is interesting to me is that, like, okay, so what does this show us? Yes, they were really good at finding the elims. Yes, they were really good at finding this first blood, but we kind of have no data on what happens on if they don't, right? A lot of times we see teams where, you know, if they're able to claim those early first bloods, they're able to convert those into round wins, right? We don't know if that's the case here, especially when you're playing on a map like Vault, which we know is very easy to get some first bloods on, whether it's you're watching sort of that outside palms area, you get sort of that pool pre-nade that drops in on top of it, all kinds of stuff that can happen there, you know, depending on timings and how your team has your break-off strategies and what you want to go on through. So I'll be curious to see, can UTA get some of these first bloods and then be able to convert them into round wins, because we haven't really seen them be able to do that. We've only seen them basically just get full on eliminated in any of the rounds. It hasn't been really just an opportunity for them to kind of like play search and destroy, really, right? Like, so it's hard to kind of judge how this UTA squad is going to be able to kind of hold up in this search and destroy, because last time we were seeing them, it was just pure domination, pure carnage.
Yeah, I mean, pomegranates to coconuts are protocol, at least to Vault at the end of the day when it comes down to search and destroy. I will say this much: when it comes down to the trades that were rather scarce from those first bloods, as we saw across the board, all 6 rounds ended in kills. All 6 rounds had first bloods going the way of the Sooners of OU. You get caught in a situation where you do get first blooded, you're not immediately in a tradable position. Think about a lot of those long-range engagements with the first bloods of protocol search and destroy. That's kind of the MO of that map mode combination. Rather than in Vault, it just comes down to those snappy gunfights to be able to find those traits. Try to set up Austin to be that second guy. If he's not going to be the Abizi of UTA and try to force the issue for first bloods, set him up to be in that corner to be able to get that trade. Whatever that corner may be, you have to decipher on the fly in your post-plant setup or in your retake, because Austin's shooting pretty damn straight right now. He's very accurate. His snaps look on fire. So yeah. I think that you need to try to lean into that if you are UTA. We're about to get back underway with this map number 5. Full-on replay, bomb planted 4v4. No guarantee the round was going anyway. And we're going to be able to see the conclusion here. Is the reverse sweep going to be happening here for UTA, or are OU going to put this to rest and remain undefeated?
Would be kind of crazy to see UTA do it. Would not be surprised at this point. You know, I think when we started this, you and I were like, wow, okay, I think we understand what's about to happen here. I don't think we were ready for potentially the reverse sweep to come on through. So, hey, you don't go for the reverse sweep and not complete it. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead. UTA drops on in. It's going to be Austin, the MVP of the last 2 maps, basically. He's going to be trying to hold it on through. It's a flurry of lethals and tacticals getting thrown on over him. Bomb, of course. Quick plant going on through. Austin just laying in wait. You know somebody's on out here. Do you go for this slide on out? Do you bring them on through? Kenzie will claim first blood. It is trades back and forth thanks to the names. Urgent wide on the swing. Might be able to find something on the bottom. Up in B2, you don't actually get that kill. You're dancing, you're playing around it. It's not enough to stay alive. Tate will be able to bring you on down. A fantastic retake from Oklahoma University.
Timing was bad. It wasn't even hesitation. I just don't know whether or not the alarm bells or the call came through for Urgent. So difficult to tell when you just have the mini map and just watching all of your teammates die on the screen. Urgent was that player that was watching the exit through the middle of the map, and you got to see some at least immediate information come through. Obviously, it's ball. We're going to bum rush in towards that A bomb site, try to get it through, quickly plan it. You saw OU Esports. They held on to some late utility, tried to chuck it on in there. They found good damage, but Urgent was just too late in that clutch position to be able to play for that kill on the bomb itself. Got caught in the dance.
Well, let's see. Oklahoma, they know how they wanted to play this on defense. How do they want to answer back on their own offense? And well, it looks like it's going to be a first blood. Some trades going on through. We'll put them into the positives. 3v2. It's Nija and Guaf. Got to make something happen. Nija put some shots on over there towards the bathhouse. Gonna be Zamo. I'm just going wide, but Guaf will catch him on the transition. Puts us into a 2v2. Guaf maneuvering around. Can you play this with Nija? Your system is down. You're sliding in as a duo. Shots are there. Guaf, you find one, but it's the pistol out. You can't manage to find the second. A great way to play that to secure the round for you if you are Oklahoma University. And look at this.
Yeah, tough in that situation. You got back-to-back Jackals inside the bomb side. 2v2 would have caused for a lot of heroics, but I mean, good timing there to at least take down Zamo on transition, to your point there, Dandro. But once you start getting inside the bomb site, you got no util to maybe try to flush out, let alone there was a trophy system keeping them safe from any sort of excess utility that you would have had out of UTA. But I mean, just good dissection. I think a forced TK does come through there at the end. You know, you hold on. Good post-plan situation to have themselves in. UTA would love an answer.
All right, some fast work through the top halls area.
That's what I'm talking about right there, man.
Yeah.
Like, just set up Austin to be the second guy. Like, flashbangs aren't necessarily the go-to util, obviously, but you can get a man-made flashbang when they're just dolphin diving towards the other bodies of the enemy team and set up Austin for that two-piece. No trades required. A flawless round out of UTA. Nobody got through the upper halls.
No, I mean, that's a great way to answer on back, too. It's one thing to, like, have this round where you really have to work for it, but just be like, yeah, we got one on the board because we literally just bull rushed top. You know, that's definitely one way to have a round go your favor. You're feeling good. Austin keeping that gun hot. OU Esports back on to the offense here. And already seeing that continued aggression from UTA. They're moving around this map fast.
Urgent's going to give away his red dot on the minimap. They know somebody's playing that head glitch over by the opposite staircase. Lando picking up the nade. Lands right into the lap. That's good damage. Hits a whole lot of flak and sets up Tate for 2. Oh, the defense was set up so wonderfully. You know, Urgent's up top. Gets an ego shell out of Zamo, but has to get the entire ace to win this round.
Well, you find one. And you find 3 more. You know where one is. Some great shots coming on through. Oh, what a cheeky little angle. What a play spot there. Who is that? Number 8? That's
so
Tate.
cozy.
Brings you on down. Yeah, I think cozy's a good word for it.
Like one of those moments where like you're just playing like Shark with your friends inside the pool. Tate's just sitting there at the bottom of the stairs waiting for his team or his friends just to walk down this ramp or the staircase and just grab their ankles. And good fun. Good fun. Maybe not for UTA. but that's tough at the end of the day. Again, like you're just hoping to maybe try to force the trades to come all the way through, but a good cooked up nade comes through from Lando down low inside the bomb site. Sets up Tate to drop down from P1. Be able to collect on all of that damage. Leading by 2, UTA up on the offense. Look how hesitant they are. They don't want to try to go for this quick plan anymore.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be first in on the bomb site. Making sure nobody gets to move their way on in. That's that fast. But it looks like, we were saying earlier, how many times do you ever see the bomb go down at B? It's hardly ever. Well, UTA going to throw one into the mix. Why not? I mean, Nija down below will get stunned on out towards Waterside. Guaf, if you open this door, it is certain death for you, my friend. You got to wait here. But look what it's going in through water. Nija will be able to find one, but that's huge information. Time not on your side if you are OU. You got Urgent playing on deep. Guaf a little bit more on up, but they are pinning you on down. It's a nade that goes there. Austin for 2. It's Urgent and Guaf against Zamo. Zamo from the top balcony side. Can you manage to find the 2-piece? I don't think you have the time to try and find the 2-piece that are here. Pistol out, running on forward. Interesting strategy there. Works out for them.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, they got the information from Lando. He was the one that just full-on rushed all the way through the bottom side through A-bomb. They got that information. He even peeked his head all the way through pool, and they're like, screw it. Like, you didn't see anything. Urgent didn't see anything over by that B lane. You just push that. You just quick rotate all the way through. Get that bomb quickly planted. It's more tipping of the hat to that Austin stayed alive with 9 HP. He got inside of Art, and with that position, main AR of Zamo had to hit that a little bit quicker just to unearth Austin. That 2-piece saved him.
And it's yet again fast movements through the middle of the map. Lando made their way down below. It is just absolute trades as Lando will find 2. You get cut on down. It's just Urgent with an Ames in bottom vault in Oklahoma University. Answer on back. I mean, I just feel like UTA is winning these rounds off of, hey, let's do like a little bit of a cheeky strat. Let's do like something a little bit off the wall. And Oklahoma University are just answering back with a flurry of blows.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you still have to shut down the aggression. It is Vault S&D at the end of the day. And although they have not played it at CCL regular season, one thing OU Esports have done all CCL regular season is be the aggressor. Got to see that come through with Lando. Found 3 in that round. Up to 5-3 alongside teammate Uptate. Round lead yet again for the Sooners. This would be a big round to have for yourself if you are UTA.
Yeah. This kind of stops the bleeding a little bit. Gives you a little bit of confidence. You're not on that point. Feeling good, but it's an RCXD. We'll drop on down. You get some information at least out of it. Not too bad. You're now just keeping your eyes all around here. It's a second RCXD. Okay. It's immediately blown on up. Bomb planted for the outside. Swinging on through. Trade's going on through. There's actually a TK that comes on in. That'll put OU into the positives. It's Nija and Urgent. Trying to stay up. Urgent finds Lando. Urgent finds Tate. That is a huge pick. It's Samo in the 1v2. Shots go a little bit wide on the first one. Slides on out. It's not there. UTA answer back. Wow. Off of the back of a TK. I mean, OU. They had the round.
I mean, this time around, even numbers aside, it's Urgent that makes the difference. You remember the last time the UTA had a quick plant down at A, Urgent was way too late off the timing to try to play for that spot. You even called the bomb is planted for Urgent outside over by the bathhouse. He hits over towards the top side of the pool. He has direct line of sight to help out his teammates. This time around, he did lose them inside the bomb site, but has a great angle to be able to find those 2 trades. UTA stay alive. They only trail by 1 now.
Oh, it is a full-on bang out here in bottom vault. It's a 2 for 2.
No bullets.
Comes on down. Urgent, last one alive with the pistol, and wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. Because I mean, like, I feel like we literally just talked about this on UTA's last defense. Like, they still have to crack the code of the aggression of OU Esports. It is Vault Search and Destroy. They're going to go for that quick plan. It's worked out for them for the past 3 offenses. You attempted the raw aggression of defense last time, and it was the same exact outcome of what just happened in round number 8. Now OU Esports are up on series point. UTA making a very strong argument for it. Their quick plan over by A worked out last time. Going to try to go for it. No. They're just going to try to play for the overextension.
Okay, well, Urgent will be able to get one of those pre-nades onto Zamo. So immediately that's a first blood, putting it into your favor. Aisha almost giving that away, but thankfully Urgent there for the trade. Lando goes down. It's Tate in the 1v4. No aces coming on in. UTA will not let the map end here. 1 round away from pushing us to a round 11.
Dude. We need to start a dialogue about a 5-4 UTA Esports bringing these top cut teams to the absolute brink. Or we need to start a conversation about the top 25 committee ranking these guys at number 12, because this is cataclysmic. I mean, there also comes a monicum of OU Esports absolutely just ran at them. Like I said, UTA were playing for the overextension. That's exactly what OU Esports did. Semtex finds first blood. They try to push for trade. Walk into an AR blunder. Urgent for 3. All you really needed to know.
8-5 out of Urgent. It was kind of a quiet series from them so far, but showing up when it matters most in game number 5. Niger playing on the south side. Jackal PDW in hand. Austin backing on up from here. You can kind of see the eyes going towards that bathhouse as well. Does Zamo put himself in a position to see this? Yeah, I was waiting for the push there. Austin able to gain control. Tate, though, bomb is down at A. Playing on the inside of that. On the top, Kenzie finds one. That's a huge pick on Anija. Guaf trying to make the entrance here. It's not going to be enough. It's Urgent and Anija. It's not going to be there. Whew! Oklahoma University, they don't let it go to around 11. It's a 6-4 in the Vault Search and Destroy, a map they haven't played in the CCL, and I don't think we would have been able to assume that based on how they played it.
No, not off the 6-0 protocol. I mean, that was all off of UTA not playing protocol search and destroy. OU Esports not playing it. We always knew that they had the edge. I mean, they are undefeated, but I mean, getting brought to a map 5, having to deny a reverse sweep in 10 rounds of a map 5 here on Vault Search and Destroy for your first time in the regular season is no easy feat, but the aggression was being gifted round after round offensively out of OU Esports in that moment. Retake definitely felt possible. Numbers advantage was actually there for the Mavericks, but this is the proactivity that you've come to expect out of the Sooners, the number 12 OU Esports. This time it was Kenzie, one of the ARs, one of the slower of the 4 players of OU Esports. They hit the route. Nobody was challenging him through the lane. He hits a route all the way through BU lane, gets in towards the back hallways of the defender's spawn, and he just gets up and watches 2 players in the backside of the pool house. Once he finds that first kill, that's everything you need to know. You don't have a double chow to go through the main doors inside the 8-bomb site. You don't have the luxury of time anymore. Good dissection there in the post plan if you're watching it from OU's perspective. This search and destroy map 5 obviously goes without saying, much closer than the map number 2. But this UTA Esports, I'm sure, has earned a lot of respect amidst all of the CCL community, myself included. I was ready to write this off as a 3-0, the way we saw that map number 2 go, man. But, I mean, this West Sunbelt region top cut, better watch out. You better keep your vetoes on point because UTA Esports are ready to play.
Yeah, I love that they come on in here into this game number 5. They, of course, dropped those first 2 rounds, and I think you and I were both kind of shaking our heads thinking, is this about to be another 6-0? Is this going to be about another what we saw in game number 2? No, it was not. UTA comes on back. Almost the reverse sweep like you mentioned, and I feel like, you know, that can't be understated, that you almost go to a round 11 for the reverse sweep. Absolutely insane, but really both teams showing some very strong prowess across the game modes. I think that what I was most impressed with was that Hacienda control from UTA. They made it look flawless. They made it look effortless. It was looking very, very good. And they kept up close, of course, in that Skyline hardpoint, a map that we've seen, you know, sometimes can get a little away from teams that are there. So they keep on up and they're able to take it in that map number 4. A great series overall, man. I definitely think that, you know, UTA put their name on the map, like you mentioned. Oklahoma University, maybe you have some learnings, hit that VOD review. Don't almost get reverse swept by a 5-4 team.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's still plenty more COD left out of this division, out of this top cut. I mean, UTA show more promise out of the other top cut teams that they've lost to. Like I was saying, there's at least one map out of the handful that they did play that they kept close, if not did win. Who's to say that they even know what their ceiling looks like? I don't even know anymore, man, but I'm ready to see it. Ahead of conference championships, there's still plenty of COD left in this restructure period. So UTA still a lot to learn. Time to keep nose to textbooks. Got to make sure that you're prepared towards the end of the road here for the CCL regular season.
No, it's going to be fantastic. That's all we got for you here tonight, though. We had 3 absolute banger matches. You know, huge shout out to, of course, Zepp and McCormiel, who joined us here on the cast as well for a couple of those other series, but really great matches here. I love seeing, since the restructuring going on, you know, all of the matches that we're seeing going on, because they are all very close. This is some really good COD that we are seeing being played across these teams every single week. So make sure that you're staying up to know. Go ahead on over there to Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days. Go ahead, follow College COD so you can keep up to date with everything we have going on here. Future matches that are coming on in. And make sure you're following this channel, twitch.tv/College COD. That way you can keep up to date and tune in for our next matches, which I believe will be, of course, next week on Monday and Tuesday again. It's been a fun day being alongside you proper, but I think we are going to go ahead and head on out. So I want to thank everybody for tuning on in. I want to thank all the production and admin team in the back. You guys helped this thing run nice and buttery smooth. And I want to give one last shout out because we can do this now, of course, to our new partner. And that is, of course, Scuff Controllers, the exclusive controller partner of College COD. We got a nice little pin message in the chat there if you want to go ahead check out a brand new Scuff controller. With that being said, that's proper. I'm Dandro. This has been College COD. We'll see you in the next one.